Smash that limiter!
Hello, welcome to
Hello,
episode
everyone.
3. Hello. Okay, so Ray is running late.
That's all right. She'll just join us later in the
Yeah,
episode.
she
A few errands.
yeah, she's doing some troubleshooting with someone at the moment, so she'll be back later. Oh, she'll be on later. So, how was your week, Spliffy?
Actually, rather exhausting, but
Yeah.
that's work for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit like that, isn't it? It's certainly been a long week for me as well, but Friday was good though. Friday ended up really well.
Mm.
And then yesterday we got pretty drunk, didn't we?
Yeah, I had a couple of drinks.
Well, I
I
did
was
anyway.
more looking forward to the karaoke. I didn't want to get too drunk to be able to sing.
I did karaoke. I did. How many songs did I sing?
3, I think, was the
3.
amount that you sang. I think it was
Yeah.
3. It was either 2 or 3.
It was cringy. I was kicking myself the whole time. I was like, oh no, what am I doing? I think that's the reason why I got so drunk is because I couldn't bear to understand what I was doing.
Well,
but everyone was
that's
like
kind of
really
the point
nice
of karaoke.
it is, but that also was like really, really good about it though. So everyone was like super nice, which is always a good thing. Oh, hello, Stumpy. Yeah, oh, fuck that.
Hello, Stumpy. How are you?
Hello. Stumpy was also someone that was good fun. But last night as well. So what car things has happened during the week for you?
I'm here. I'm not late. I'm here.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Let me fix this up. Oh no, it's not working, Ray.
Oh, it's because my camera's not on. How about that?
We got technical difficulties. Okay. Let me change the scene.
Standard procedure, as far as I'm concerned.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Yeah, nah, that's right.
There we go. So Ray is now in.
There you are.
That's me.
So, Ray, tell us about yourself. Who are you? Where are you from?
I'm Ray. I'm a VTuber. And an Australian, and I come from Australia. I work with small children when I'm not VTubing.
That's it. Yeah. So, you can find Ray at Twitch, which should be in the description below. And also when I edit this this video, once we've finished with the live and that, I'll also have it on the YouTube channel as well, all the links and whatnot. So yeah.
Let's have a quick.
So
Ray,
Hunter,
how did you learn how to drive?
Via trial and error. My dad taught me how to drive.
Yeah.
He was a very, very patient man, actually, and I couldn't be more grateful that he taught me how to drive, because every time I got into the car with my mother, it was a very different story.
Yeah.
And so now I am a pretty attentive driver. Thank goodness.
Yeah. You also are one of a few type of people in the world that can drive manual as well, aren't you?
Oh yeah. I don't drive auto.
Yeah, you've never owned an automatic. What cars have you owned?
My first car was this little, it was my favorite thing in the whole world. It was this little red Ford Festiva. It was my little pocket rocket. I loved that thing so much. I crashed it a few times. I did a lot of burnouts. I bunny hopped it all over the place.
Yeah.
And now I have a Elantra, a yellow Elantra.
A yellow pocket rocket.
Yeah, now I have another pocket rocket. It's just yellow this time.
Yeah.
Yellow is your favorite color, though, isn't it?
Yeah, yellow is my favorite color.
So, does Spliffy know the story of what happened to the red car after you sold it?
Probably
Probably
not.
Yeah.
So I got into an accident where this woman like slammed on her brakes in front of me, and it like messed up my whole like fender, and it took like 2 weeks to get it fixed off, and my dad did a really good job of hand repairing it, and then like less than a month I reckon later it happened again. And I was just like so done with it that I sold it to Hunter's brother for like $500.
No, it wasn't my brother, it was his mate.
Well, it was his brother and his mate. It was
Yeah.
both of them. But yeah. And they took it to this little forest nearby and did some really stupid stuff with it and put a hole in the fuel tank. And then they drove it to the wreckers.
They drove it to the wreckers after they put a hole in the fuel tank.
It was
Yeah.
It was enough. Yeah, it was enough to get them.
It was enough to get by.
Yeah, they took it off roading.
Yeah, holy.
And they hit like a ditch and it put a hole straight through the fuel tank. Yeah.
They gave it the old Australian adage, she'll be right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was video footage. Actually, we should have tried to find it.
I don't have it, but yeah, it was on his phone. He showed us. Yeah. I reckon.
No, I reckon they sent it to you.
Did they? Yeah.
I reckon you'd be able to find it if you went digging.
Because you were like really upset about it as well, which is fair enough. I mean, you love that car.
Yeah, I really loved that car.
So yeah. So road rage incidents was a topic that I was thinking of looking into because we've all experienced road rage one way or another, whether it's just as simple like someone's done something and you just sort of have a scream match out the window at each other, calling each other dickheads or something. And then there's also extremes where people have actually gotten out of the car and abused you.
Yep.
So
there is that.
have you had? Can you share some of those stories?
Oh yeah, I can share some of them stories. Oh gosh, it was a few years ago now, but I was just driving home one day, not doing anything. Like, you know, when I was a teenager, I did drive like a fucking dickhead. I'm gonna admit to that. But, you know, this one day I wasn't doing anything like bad. I wasn't being a dickhead. I was just driving home on the like our speedway. Doing 100, keeping left, you know, overtaking properly. And then when I got to the lights at the end of the highway, it was like this guy that had been kind of like up my ass a bit had been being a bit of a dick on the road. He got out of his car and was smacking on my window and telling me how I don't fucking drive like that. What's wrong with you? You shouldn't be driving like that. I was like, what are you on, mate? You know, turned around and he's got his like 8-year-old kid in the car.
Oh, that's always great.
I know.
Real like, you know, stand-up citizen.
Yeah.
And he took off, you know. I was smart enough. Well, I wasn't really smart, but I had manually locking doors, so the only door that I had unlocked was my driver's side door, so I just locked it as soon as I saw him getting out of his car. So
Yeah, it's a fair game.
he did try and open it and shit. He was gonna pull me out.
Wow.
He was really angry.
Yeah, holy
I
crap.
still don't know what it was that I did, you know. I wasn't gonna go to the cops. I was just like gonna make like an online report or whatever. But I was pretty shaken up, in shock.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Hunter made me go down there.
Yeah, well,
to report it.
because generally if someone is willing to get out of the car and try and pull someone out, you have to, especially going up to like a woman and doing that as well, a young woman that you
Yeah, I
don't know
would
how
have been
old they
like
are.
probably 20.
Yeah.
You're probably
They
not the only one.
there's a very highly likely chance they're a violent person, which means their at-home life could also be incredibly violent. So making a
I
report to
can
the
attest to
cops
that.
is a really good thing to do because it's more evidence for the police to use if something bad was to ever
Totally,
happen.
totally. Yeah, and the lady cop at the cop shop, she was super like nice about it, and she was like just wanted to make sure that I was okay and that nothing actually, happened. There was no injuries or damages or whatever, and she was like, "Well, because there was a kid in his car, we're probably gonna go knock on his door."
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a real type of special person to be that violent for no reason, really. Most of the average people just give each other the finger and then be done with it.
Yeah, yeah, but you know, uh, flipping the bird is just part of being a driver.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. Yeah.
You know,
You know you haven't done it right if you haven't. You know you haven't pissed someone off if they don't give you the finger.
yeah.
Oh,
My
yeah.
favorite thing is when they're in the wrong and they give you the finger.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like they'll cut you off.
They pull out in front of you, you beep them, and they flip you off.
I remember this one time where I was on my way home from uni and I had everybody in the car and it was in the old laser. And so I used to the laser was pretty easy to steal, so I used to club lock the steering wheel so then that way people wouldn't steal it. Yes, the car wasn't worth anything, but for like a bunch of kids, it's a joyride, easy theft with a little bit of fun. So I just like used to carry a club lock all the time. And there was this old dude sitting behind me, beeping me, flashing his lights, carrying on like an idiot. And I was doing the limit as well. And I was trying to change into the left-hand lane because it's like a 4-lane road. And I kept trying to change lanes, but people just kept, just cutting me off. And I was indicating for ages. And then when I almost was about to start changing lanes, this idiot behind me that's been carrying on like a pork chop then undertakes me and winds down his window and starts abusing me, saying he's going to smash my head in. And then I grabbed the glove lock and I said to him, fucking try it. And he fucking shat himself and just drove off.
What did you grab?
The club lock. I was going to beat the crap out of him with that club lock.
Oh.
If he tried anything, I was going to fuck him up. I was not happy. If they choose violence, violence is the only option.
Oh, yeah, true. Fire with fire in that regard.
Oh, yeah. But luckily nothing happened. It was just a bit of a tit for tat. But he was just an old guy thinking that he was like tough. But honestly, I wouldn't even need the club lock to knock that guy in his ass. Yeah.
I had this incident happen. I probably maybe 3 months ago. It wasn't anything major or anything like that, but I was overtaking a truck and there was this SUV behind me who was screaming up behind me. I reckon he must have been doing at least 130. Come up to me. I'm doing 110 to overtake this truck doing 100 in the left lane. And this SUV comes screaming up behind me. And I'm just like, I'm thinking, nah, I'm going to stick to 110. I'm not going to speed up for you. And so I eventually get out in front of the truck, keep my 3-second gap in front of the truck. And then get into the left lane, whatever. And then the guy in the SUV basically comes up to the side of my car and then does that whole... You know how people clearly are angry at you to the point where they will merge into the left lane, like when they're halfway across your car? So they basically try and push you off the road. Yeah, that's essentially what this SUV did. And then after he got into the left lane, he took off doing 130 at least. Right? So it's like, whatever, you're not even worth the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. These days, like, I'm pretty mellow. So, like, even when someone cuts me off, I actually don't even give people the finger anymore. Like, I just don't care anymore. Like, I'm not in a crash. So I don't care.
Yeah, more important things to think about.
When I was younger, like in my uni days and whatnot, then yeah, I did care. And when I was on my P's, I cared. But when I was on my P's, I was scared all the time. I very much tried to avoid confrontation because I was like, scared teenager essentially. Because I knew that I was more than likely in the wrong because I'm learning still. But when I got older and I got better at driving,
Yeah, no, I was feisty when I was a teenager.
I used to get. The dog is just being very. What's wrong with you, eh? She's just like walking around in circles under me.
Just chilling
This is what
out.
she does. This is what she does. She knows that we can't do anything about it. She does this to me when I'm sick. She knows that I can't do anything about it, so she just sits there and stares at me.
Yeah, she's just like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yeah.
So, Ray, do you have a favorite component of the car, such as the engine, transmission, diff, or whatnot, or even the tires, if need be?
Well, when I was looking for a car last, my make or break factor was cup holders.
Well,
Okay.
In your defense, though, when you have a car that doesn't have cup holders, it's the worst.
Yes, it's the
Really?
worst.
Yeah, it is. It is not fun. And then every time you go to like a fast food drive-through or something like that, they never fucking give you their cup holders when you need cup holders. Like,
I settled for one cup holder in my car, and it's the worst decision I ever made. I wish I'd held out for two because, like, if I buy two meals for like me and Hunter or whatever, and I have to put them on my front seat, the drinks, because I have one cup holder.
and it's a shallow one too. It's not even.
Yeah,
deep.
it's not great.
You don't even have cup holders like on your side doors, like on the inside of your side doors?
I mean, yeah, but I'm not putting like a Macca's Coke in there.
Yeah, okay.
It'd be only useful for like a bottle or
That's just
something.
gonna end up on my feet.
Yeah. Yeah. I was the same boat, eh? Air conditioning and cup holders was my must-haves when I bought a car, because the Commodore never had cup holders and the Laser never had cup holders. And then the Nav's got 4. So it's got 2 in the center console, which are nice and deep as well, and it's got 2 in the door as well. Actually, no, it's technically got 6 because it's also the rear passengers have cup holders in their doors as well, which is handy.
I don't think I have cup holders in my car. I haven't really explored that.
What do you
much
do
into
with
it.
like HJs and stuff like that when you go and get that? Do you do the same
I
thing?
hold it. I just hold on to, because I only ever buy one meal, so I'll just
Yeah.
hold on
Yeah,
to
that's
the
true.
I'll hold on to the cup and then just drive with one hand.
How do you combat when someone doesn't put the bloody lid on properly?
I've never had that issue.
What?
No way.
No, you're telling me you have competent fast food workers?
Yeah. It's actually one of the reasons why I really like Hungry Jack's, because they're really competent and they I've only ever had a couple of bad experiences where maybe like, and this is like some serious like petty shit, but where not petty, but basic, like a real nitpicking. That's what I should say.
Yeah.
Where the patty is just like slightly drier than it should be. It's like, well, whatever, I'll still eat it.
Wow.
But other than like, that's literally the worst thing I've had there. KFC, on the other hand, where I live, is terrible. The service is awful. I've actually walked out several times.
Oh, really?
It was so bad.
Jeez.
I'll explain this. I'll explain the I think it was the first or second time I walked out. So this one time I walked out, I go up to the cash register to order what I want, and I think there's a grand total of what, 4 or 5 people in the kitchen. There was just no staff, and one of the staff workers, one of the workers in the drive-through, asks the person at the cashier, the cashier, what's going on with this particular order, like where they're up to with the particular order. So the guy basically he turns from me, he looks to his left to look at them, and then he just walks away from the cash register before he finished my meal, before he finished ordering or taking my order. So I just left and got kebabs.
What?
Yeah, he just walked away. Like, okay, I guess I'll just wait. And I thought, no, I really, I even if I get what I want, it's probably not going to be. It's just not going to be worth it. So I just left.
Oh man.
That is bad. I've had a go at a fast food worker. Like, when was it? It was a while ago.
Hunter,
Wasn't it?
let me tell you, Hunter is the worst when it comes to fast food people. And if they do like the smallest thing, oh, they better watch out.
They're fucking with my food. You don't fuck with my food. I do apologize in advance because some of you are probably hearing my voice go through Ray's mic.
Oh, are you? Sorry about that.
Yeah. I'm trying really hard not to be so loud, but I'm just a boisterous man.
Yeah,
No,
you're
I
just
can
a
never
loud
be.
prick.
Yeah.
I could never be vocal against fast food workers because I used to be a fast food worker, so I know how
Yeah.
messy the job can be.
It's not so much listen, it's not when they make a mistake. Like, I have no problem with them making a mistake and apologizing and fixing it. It's when they give me fucking attitude after they've made a mistake, like it's my fault.
Oh, right.
That's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, and some of the people here, like, there was this one chick, I reckon they fired her, but she would like she would just give you attitude. Like, the number one thing I like to do is ask someone to repeat the order to make sure that's done correctly. And like, I'm not rude. I'm like, oh, would you be able to like please repeat the order for me? I just want to make sure it's correct. And this chick would just roll her eyes and just go, it's fine. And then like, I would have to tell her to repeat the order again, and then she will, reluctantly. And I guarantee it was like, how many times was it wrong anyway? It was like 8 out of 10 times it was wrong.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She was not good at her job at all. And then like, when they fucked up, like they gave us, didn't give us like a Whopper.
Mm.
Like, how can you have a large Whopper meal without a Whopper?
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm missing a Whopper. And then she's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's giant, like, those that haven't, so a Whopper's like in a box like that big.
Yeah, they're a lot large.
You don't miss it, and they're in like a big cardboard box as well. So like, they're not something that you can easily miss. And yeah, I had to argue with her, and then she reluctantly gave me one. And like, yeah, the whole time she was just giving you attitude, and then she'll like park you for like an ice cream, or like, yeah, I just used to, I made it my mission every time I went to the fast food thing to piss her off. I did not like her. So I'm like, can you please go to the parking lot? I'm like, no, you can just give me my food now. She's like, it's not ready. I'm like, I can see the bag. And I could see the bag, like the food was ready. They just wanted to park us. I was just a dick to them. Yeah, it's fun.
This other time, I went to the KFC on the other side of the same town I live in, and I asked for my regular order, and I don't even know how the hell this happens, but they essentially said to me that they ran out of chicken.
Oh yeah, that used to happen all the time. I used to work at KFC. We'd run out of chicken all the time.
Oh.
It's a bit counterproductive when that happens, isn't it? Oh, hang on. Ray went missing. Oh, there she is.
Ray's popped
I'm back.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I have to keep popping the window back in so it doesn't do that. Okay. Is there a car, Ray, that you've always wanted to own?
Well, it's not really my dream, to be honest, but I would love to have a yellow XB coupe because when I was a kid, that was the car that my dad had when I was really little,
Mm.
and when they moved, we lived in this little country town, and when they moved out of the country town, um, I they had to leave the car behind, and he never got it back.
Oh
So
wow.
I'd just love to have that car, just to say we got it back.
I will bring up the browsing picture. Oh, God, that Ray keeps going missing. Hang on a second.
Put me back on the screen.
It is. This will happen a lot. It's gonna be a bit buggy with that. So if I go browsing, see if that works. Is it working? It's not working. How do I do this?
You have to change your window in properties to the right window.
That one. There we go. Haha. Excellent. There it is.
Oh
that's it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, that's fair. I can see why
So,
you would want that
yeah.
car.
So that's the XB coupe there. That she's talking about.
Mm.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nah,
isn't
it's
it?
more like that one.
Which one? That one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Nah, it is a
that's
nice
what-
looking car.
Yeah, it is.
Looks oddly similar to our homepage picture.
Yeah, the good old AI art picture.
Yeah. It's just such a bizarre picture.
It really is. Like, I don't know if anyone's actually looked at it properly, but it's very chaotic, and
It is.
you would see like a car smashing into the side of the main
Yeah,
car, and it's just
protruding from the side of the big car.
And all I did was ask the AI to generate a limited basher picture, and that's what it come up with. It's like
That's one hell of an interpretation of limited basher.
yeah, I know. It's just awesome. I like it. I love it. That's the reason why I chose it as our main symbol. It's really popped out, literally.
Quite literally.
Do you think, Ray, that modern cars look better than old cars from an artist perspective, since you are actually an
No,
artist?
absolutely not.
What?
I think I have a theory as to why a lot of cars look the same nowadays.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. They all look the same. They all like these like bubble. The lines are not like as nice and clean and sharp and like like they were so. Cars were mean.
Yeah,
They were.
They really
Now
were.
they're
They had a
just
lot of
like
character to them.
like bubble cars.
Yeah, they look like they're designed in a wind tunnel.
Yeah,
They are. That's
Yeah,
the
they
theory that I have as to why cars all look the same nowadays.
Yeah.
Because there's only one way to make a car as aerodynamic as possible.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I can also tell you why all the cars look the same, besides the wind tunnel thing, and it's because a lot of cars are made in the same factory.
that doesn't surprise me.
So as you're all aware, the terminology, everything made in China, obviously it's not, I'm not talking about just China, but just everything's made usually in like a handful of factories that do a lot of the manufacturing. And a lot of car companies use these same factories to produce a lot of the components, like the bodies, the base body, the chassis, and all that sort of stuff, suspension components, and all that stuff. And a lot of them have deals where they get a discount price if they use the current tooling for manufacturing their bodies and stuff. So a lot of manufacturers will design the cars around that, so then that way they can knock a significant price off the manufacturing side of things. So that's why a lot of cars look the same. It's because they literally use the same factory that has the same tooling to make all those cars. And then obviously you got your outlier cars, like your high performance cars, which are usually made in house or with factories that can like make specialized tooling, which is why they're significantly more expensive. Because in manufacturing side of things, tooling is what costs money, because like it's not making the product itself, it's actually designing and manufacturing the tools used to make that product. That is expensive, and it's a lot of like research and development just in that alone. Then once that's done, that's when they actually start the manufacturing side of things. Sup, Punky Wog? How's it going?
Punk Wog.
How's your Sunday going, mate? So yeah, that's why a lot of cars look the same. It's one, like aerodynamics, and two, they're generally made in the same factory. And then they just add like different lights and stuff like that to make them slightly different. Oh yeah, that's right. You had a party, didn't you? Yeah, we had fun last night, didn't we? Playing.
We had a lot of fun.
We were doing karaoke. How was my singing, Ray?
Do you want the real answer,
Oh,
or
yeah,
do you want
yeah.
me to sugarcoat?
No,
it was
be brutal. Just
it was
rip
terrible.
Yeah.
It sounded like when you give the kid who can't read a chapter to read when you're reading a book as a class.
That is
That is a
exactly-
really interesting comparison.
that is where they stuff up in the first sentence, and instead of saying they just like skip a couple of words.
Yeah.
That's my singing's bad. I'm tone deaf, I swear.
You just need to practice, that's all.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not wanting to like sing in front of people.
But that's right. It was also, you were like super tense.
Yeah.
And you didn't just like get into it. You're like super tense.
I'm awkward at parties and stuff like that. When we used to like go night clubbing and stuff like that, I'm that weird guy that just sort of like just bobs and doesn't look like he's enjoying himself.
Yeah, he just stands at the edge of the room and hopes that nobody sees him, because he's standing at the edge of the room, he's standing alone.
The ball that me and Ray went to, I made friends with the Raider, and so I was just getting constant drinks. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
He was concerned for our health at the amount of alcohol we drank that night.
Oh, we drank so much.
We weren't even like...
No, we weren't.
That
were
pissed.
We? Nah.
No.
We didn't even get a hangover the next day, did we?
Nah. Well, I didn't, but I never get a hangover.
No, I don't even think I was hungover, and normally I'd get really hungover. I think it's because I was also drinking water in between each drink as well.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah, that will do it.
Yeah, so I was drinking lots of water because I get super uncomfortable in like highly crowded environments like that. So yeah, I'm not really a person that likes crowds. I get very stimulated.
I spent the whole night trying to pull him into the dance floor, and he wouldn't come.
Oh wow.
I did it to one of the songs.
for about a third of the song, yeah.
It was a fun night though, wasn't it?
It was. I had a lot of... Last night was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure the ball was a lot of fun too.
Yeah, Spliffy was there in spirit. Oh my god. Yeah, because Ray also won best dress as well, which is pretty cool.
I must admit that I much prefer partying from my PC than going to an actual party, because, my feet don't hurt from the dumb shoes that I decide to wear. I don't have to worry about what clothes I'm wearing. I can be braless. It's the life.
That's it.
Hell yeah. I love PC parties.
PC parties are awesome.
Mm.
They are so much fun, and you meet some like really cool people as well.
Absolutely.
Doing that sort of shit. So yeah, we had a lot of fun last night. It was good. But and obviously Punky Wog had a lot of fun last night at the party that he went to. The dog's walking up and down.
Just ignore her.
She's the only one that didn't enjoy the party. She was giving me stank eye all night.
Oh.
Probably because she was so loud.
Yeah,
She probably
I was
wanted to
keeping her
sleep.
up. Did you actually get drunk?
Oh, you drink for the first time, you get drunk of just
Well,
about anything.
he's had alcohol, but he's never actually gotten drunk before.
Oh, right.
Oh, good on you. Good on you, mate. Proud of you. If there was a car, Ray, that you think is the ugliest thing in the world, what do you think it would be? I know you don't pay attention to cars, so you could at least explain like what you think makes a car look ugly.
The Reliant Robin doesn't count.
She would actually know. You would know what the Reliant Robin is, wouldn't you?
Don't think so.
The three-wheeled car.
You know the
from
one,
Mr. Bean.
yeah, the one that would always fall on its side every time Mr. Bean like cut it off.
Oh,
That's a Reliant Robin.
Yeah, not very reliable, ironically.
It wasn't ugly though.
Define ugly, I guess. Very impractical.
I think the keys are ugly.
I don't know. There's some
Desperado?
like pretty like cubic cars around these days that are just
The
like,
Nissan,
why would you do that?
Nissan Cube.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's literally like a box. It looks
Hang on,
like
I need to.
it
look
looks
at this.
like
Pull it up on the stream.
It looks like an IKEA box driving on wheels.
Oh, that is an ugly looking car. I like boxy cars, but that's too boxy.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
It's that. I mean, look at that one. Someone painted it out.
Oh my goodness.
The Nissan Cube is the speaker. Oh my god. You have to admit though, if you were to like set these up, you would have to know that it's ugly and be proud of its ugliness. I mean, the interior does look nice though. Like,
That's what it looks like inside?
yeah, it's an
Ew.
ugly
Oh,
inside,
this-
but it looks comfy.
I don't know. I like to have both the seats completely separated by the center console.
Why?
That looks like
Why does that look like a key?
Because it's the key to the future of car design.
I mean,
There's also the Nissan, what's it called? The Odyssey, I think it is.
I can't remember if it's the Kia or the Hyundai van. No, it's definitely not the Hyundai. I think it is the Kia, a Kia van, which has that one light that goes all the way across the front end of the car that looks absolutely vile.
why?
I can't remember what it is.
Hang on a minute.
I can't remember what it's called now, but it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think I think the Chrysler PT Cruiser is pretty ugly. Yeah, I agree with that one. But what other ugly cars are there? Yeah, definitely modern cars. Like I think all the Kias look ugly, especially with their weird alien headlights. They kind of look like they have like multiple eyes going on. I think it's just ugly. Plus, they're also a poorly built car anyway. I still don't understand why people buy them.
Oh, or like the Duke.
Yeah, the Duke's an ugly. It looks like a frog, and I've driven several of them too. I remember.
It's just so lumpy for like
Yeah.
what reason? Why has it got to be like that?
So I had a Duke as a rental car for when my car was getting serviced, and I wanted to have a look at the engine because they're a twin turbo 2-liter 4-cylinder thing, and you know they are quick for what they are. They're like an all drive car as well. And so I popped the bonnet to have a look at it. I couldn't get the bonnet closed.
Oh,
This is a brand new car, and it would not fucking close. And it turns out that it's an inherited problem with them that's been around for 5 years and they still hadn't fixed it.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Isn't that like one of the simplest problems to fix?
Yeah, the latch mechanism that they use like moves.
Yeah.
It like can bend easily. And so like when you go to close it, it just, because it's slightly bent, it just won't align and won't go down. I had to call my brother and I'm like, can you help me with this? Because like I just cannot get it closed. And he's like, I can get it closed. And he jumped on it.
Oh, wow.
He jumped on it and bent it back.
Oh, that'll do it.
But they're a crap car. They're shit.
Yeah, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, they're crap. You know, they're expensive too. They're like $30,000, same price as my Nav. What they are, and that was a GT one too. So it was like the race spec one.
Mm.
But yeah, but I would like Ray to have a new car one day soon.
I would like to have a new car.
I've been doing a lot of work on her car, haven't I?
Yeah.
So yeah, I did.
She's old.
Yeah. Old.
What model was your car? What?
It's an Elantra
What
from,
year
like,
model?
2004.
All right.
It's pretty old.
Yeah, punky wog. Yeah. You shut up. Your first car's an actual car that works really well. No. Lies. Your car's not had. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it is his second car. And your first car was fine. It's just someone came along and made it not fine.
Oh.
Speaking of that, that's a good tangent. Ray,
What?
Uh-oh.
how many accidents have you been in?
3.
Ouch.
All of them rear ends.
Oh, somebody rear-ended you.
Well, 2 of them I rear-ended someone. One because they slammed on their brakes. They were on their phone. Their sandal got caught in the brake, is what she said. Another one was like at the lights. It was like super backed up traffic, and someone slammed on their brakes to stop at the light, and I just didn't have the response time or the space to have a decent response time. That's on me. And then another one was this lovely old lady in the Macca's drive-thru decided that she was gonna rear end me on my way out. And you know what? Did it in front of about 6 cops too. And because, you know, she's a lovely old lady and was a 22-year-old shit kicker who'd just been to the beach, had no shoes on, you know. Like, I looked like some young gun, and I was in my dad's car, you know. Shitty Ford, you know. Not respectable car at all. The cops decided that I was at fault, even though she was definitely at fault.
Yeah, she rear-ended you.
She rear-ended me.
Yeah. At a McDonald's drive-thru.
Because I stopped at the pedestrian crossing. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And then the insurance, because there was a police report, they decided, no, you're in the wrong. Even though I wasn't in the wrong.
And then we found out not long after that insurance companies do not have access to police reports, so it was a lie.
Yeah.
I'm
still salty about that one.
I have a friend who's in insurance, and particularly that insurance company as well. And he was like, we aren't allowed to have police reports. The only time we're allowed to have access to them is if it goes to court.
Oh, right.
So they do not, unless you send it to them, they do not have access to police reports.
I reckon she probably sent it to her insurance, and that's probably what happened.
Probably, yeah.
But you know,
Yeah. But the annoying thing is, what pisses me off these days with insurance companies is they don't bat for you anymore.
yeah,
Like, you pay all this crazy amount of money, and like when things go wrong, they will never defend you, even though it's their job to. It's especially with like rear ends. Rear end is by policy always like the person who rear ends you at fault, because legally speaking, they're supposed to give you enough distance so then that way they can stop safely. You know, like the
Yeah.
3-second rule.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, theoretically, you shouldn't be able to rear end someone. The only time I think you can rear end someone when it was actually the person who you hit's fault is if they like cut you off or something like that, or drove in front of you and failed to give way. But then in cases like that, insurance companies always blame them. So actually, Ray will be leaving soon as well, just to let you know. How long until you want to head off and do your own thing?
I have probably 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? Any sort of like any self promotions? Anything cool coming up? Anything like that you want to talk before you leave?
Not really. Follow me at twitch.tv/Rayn3va, please.
I'm
not good at self-promotion. Just
There you go.
Ray has been incredibly busy lately with everything to do with Twitch, because how long have you been on the center of Twitch for?
Oh yeah, I've been on the ANZ homepage this whole month.
It's
been so wild.
Yeah, she's
the most insane experience ever.
And because you're when are you streaming next?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. And you're
I start at 8 a.m. ACST.
And you're on the homepage as well tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah.
So those who aren't on Twitch, basically that carousel that you see, if you scroll through that, you will see Ray's stream on there. So then you can watch it from the homepage if you want, or you can click on it and then press that follow button.
You should definitely click on it and come and say hi, because I love it when people come and talk to me in my chat.
Yes. And Goose is Goose is, those are in the States, obviously that won't work because they get a different sort of carousel, but yeah, Goose is a good friend.
That is true.
That is true.
Goose is a good friend and the best mod ever.
Yeah. And hopefully Goose will share some stories one day as well on here, I hope. Stop lying.
So, Ray.
Yeah?
You're musically trained, right?
Yeah. So says one of my most popular clips. Yeah. my most popular clip says that I like to stick my dick in things, but you know, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, the to respond to you, Goose, quickly, the running late of the podcast was.
Yeah, Hunter, you gonna comment on that? Huh?
I'm trying. You keep distracting me. The reason why we ran late is I had to do some stuff this morning, so I couldn't do it at our normal time. But like I said, we are flexible, so for any guests that want to come on here, we're happy to change even the day that we do it to suit you. So, yeah. Wait, what? What have I fucking missed here? What do you mean, what was like when she's done?
There's been a couple of meme lords.
Is she,
we're just being meme lords.
So, Ray, how many instruments do you have?
I actually don't have any instruments at the moment because,
That's not true.
well, it is true.
Keyboard.
I don't have a keyboard.
Yes, you do. I literally like reorganized it in the shed.
Did you forget you owned a keyboard?
Because she owned a keyboard.
Well, I thought. Oh, you mean I have a terrible keyboard that I don't own up to having because I bought it because I really wanted to get back into playing instruments again. And I was like, it was a good price. I was really excited about it, but it sounds terrible, like really terrible. And in order for me to be able to play it, I'd need a MIDI and I'd need to run it through a PC for it to sound decent. So I don't, because I don't have the space to do that.
Yeah,
But I do play a lot of instruments.
What instruments do you actually play?
I play piano, guitar a little bit. I'm not great at it, and trumpet.
Excellent.
You are a lot better at guitar than I am, though. Then again, I suck.
Well, you just need to practice more. That's all. You don't suck. You just need to practice more.
As a female, I am not allowed to play the didgeridoo.
Yeah, women aren't allowed to play didgeridoos. Culturally not appropriate.
Yeah. That's a man's instrument.
Yeah, it's men's business.
It is men's business.
It is. I'm not even
That's what
joking.
it's called.
Yeah. Well, on that note, then,
So it's time for some men's business, huh?
It's time on that men's business, yeah, because you got to leave us, and Spliffy and I are going to continue on this podcast for another hour talking about random shit.
Yep.
And
A bit of
Ray's
fun
gonna
being meme lords.
head off and do whatever Ray wants to do.
Ray does Ray
go
things.
do Ray business.
Yeah, and I have to thank you for coming on and being our first guest. It was a lot of fun.
Of course.
It's the OG gang. It's the OG gang.
It is the OG gang. That's right. It's the three amigos.
I'll come back sometime.
When they make jokes about three Australians walk into a bar, it's about us three.
It hurt.
Yes.
How do we make a bunch of people feel uncomfortable? Just invite us three. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to change the podcast scene and let Ray be on her Ray.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for coming on.
All right. See ya.
Catch ya.
See ya.
Okay. So, how many instruments have you got, Spliffy? Since we're all talking about
okay, individual instruments or categories of instruments?
I don't fucking care.
Why not both? I'll tell you both. Okay, so I own a digital drum kit. Actually, no, I own a digital drum kit. I own an acoustic drum kit. I own a semi-acoustic guitar, an acoustic guitar, 2 electric guitars, 2 MIDI pianos, an electric bass guitar, a glockenspiel, a violin. I think that's it. Maybe do I have any more? I think that's it. Actually, I think I have 11 instruments.
Hopping the podcast. What the fuck did I just do?
What did hopping the podcast?
Hopping the podcast. I'm not even gonna.
That says hoping the podcast.
This autocorrect on this phone is so ruthless.
Excellent. But yeah, I own all up. I own 11 instruments in total, and I own like 8 individual types of instruments. And they're a lot of fun.
You also wanted that bloody what's that Japanese one where it's like the head and it goes like that noise one?
I don't know. I don't know which one you're describing. Is Does it look like a sitar, like a guitar?
No. You blow into it, and it's like a little head.
The little head.
Yeah. Automaton.
Oh, automaton.
Automaton.
That I would like to get. I think if I'm not mistaken, there should be 4 types of automatones. Is the 4 or 5 types of automatones. So it should be bass clef, treble clef, alto clef, and soprano clef. So and maybe baritone. Baritone, I imagine, would be huge. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I wouldn't mind getting one of those. I also want to get a recorder, similar to the ones that you got in primary school.
Yeah.
And I want to get a kazoo as well.
You want to get a kazoo?
I want to get a kazoo. I think kazoos are pretty cool.
I'm going to bring up. I don't know if this will work or not. Let's see if this will work. Okay.
So I'm not mistaken. You don't own any instruments, but
no, I used to play guitar, but I stopped playing years ago.
Right.
And I just never really picked up an instrument since then. I think this will work.
Yeah, I know automatones.
That's an automaton. I'm not going to play it any more than that because I don't want to copyright. But that's an automaton. Yeah. Those things. Those funky looking things.
And my family would not ever buy me one of those automatones because they know I would just drive them insane with one of those things. Because when I was a kid, if they ever bought me like a toy that ran off of batteries and had a speaker, all I would do is just hit the buttons to make noise.
I've always wanted to get those stylus, the electrical stylus thing.
Oh, the electric. I don't know what they call. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure the electro
Stylotone.
Stylotone. Yeah, that's it.
Stylotone.
Yeah, this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, stylophone.
Stylophone. No, it's stylophone.
Is it stylophone?
It is stylophone. I am confirming that.
Yes. Yeah, this thing here. I've always wanted to play around with one of those. I think that would be a lot of fun. You basically get like that little pen thing, and when you put it down that little metal bit, it makes electrical connection, which produces a note. And you can make a really interesting note with it. You can also get these round ones too. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. They're kind of cool.
Mm.
I had played an ocarina, and
how was that?
Really hard because I had the Legend of Zelda one. And the Legend of Zelda one was just really shit because it was like one of those mass-produced ones that just couldn't produce a sound. I did try learning violin, but I was never good at it, so I just gave up on that one.
Violin is really tricky. I must admit, I picked it up for a little while. I need to practice it more.
See, like we bought a violin, but we had no idea. This was before me and Ray, but we had no idea what you had to do to get the bow to produce sound, like the horsehair. Like, I didn't know you had to do all this shit to it to, like, get it to make a noise. Because we bought it thinking that, you just get started and start making noises with it.
No,
it doesn't make a single noise when you first buy them. They are completely soundless until you use the wax, and then you got to condition it. And there's a whole procedure to get the bow to actually start making sound on the violin itself. It's crazy. It's a lot of work.
It is.
Such a hard instrument.
It is. It's. I think one of the parts of one of the reasons, there are many reasons why it's a really, really tough instrument, is it's mostly because of the placement. You got to tuck it between your chin and your shoulder. That's one of the things that makes it difficult.
Yeah.
The other thing is, especially if you come from a guitar context, there are no frets on a violin, so trying to figure out the notes becomes a lot more difficult.
Yeah. Those people like what's her name? That famous violinist.
That does not narrow it down.
What the fuck is her name? She does like the Mario. She did Assassin's Creed. Lindsay Sterling.
No, I don't know her.
Lindsay Sterling. Yeah, she's pretty cool.
Oh wait, why does it sound? Maybe
Yeah.
maybe I do know her,
Yeah.
but not
There's
off the top of my
also
head.
a violinist called Jason Yang.
Mhm.
He's incredible because he can make any song play on a violin, and the cool thing about
Yep.
him is he can make a violin sound like a guitar. Like
Well, like a distorted guitar or an acoustic guitar.
no, electric. He can do it with an
Mhm.
electric, because obviously he has an electric violin, and then obviously uses all that sort of components to make the sound. But he can make a normal acoustic violin sound like an acoustic guitar as well. He used
Right.
to do some pretty cool things with it. Yeah, I used to love watching his videos and stuff. He's kind of been off on the radar for a while. Hasn't made anything
He's
in a
probably
long
doing his
time.
own thing now.
Yeah, but he was incredibly talented, and he was like you and can play piano, drums, guitar, bass, the flute,
Oh,
cello.
the flute.
Yeah, he
The
played
flute
so many
is an instrument
instruments.
I'd like to
Yeah,
learn.
yeah,
The flute is probably one of my favorite instruments because of how quickly it can turn the tone of a piece. Like
yeah.
it can completely turn the tone of a piece, with a bridge.
Speaking of like sounds and stuff like that, like instrument sounds,
Mm-hmm.
what's the best sounding engine to you?
Ooh, best sounding engine
Hmm.
in a car.
Oh no, it doesn't have to be a car. It can be a motorbike. It can be a boat. It can be a bus. It can be a truck. It can be a plane. Whatever.
Plane. I'd probably say, um, you know what? The engine out of a Spitfire from the Second World War
The
airplane.
old
That's gonna
Merlin.
be yeah. I thought that's what it was called. I just
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah,
remember. Anyway, but yeah,
Merlins are cool.
the engine of that is really it's a very it's got a very nice tone. It's got a very nice mellow tone to it. So if you ever listen to it, there's like this really nice low mids and not a lot of not too much presence and definitely a submarine engine. Oh, what's it? Yeah, but it's got this really nice tone to it, where there's
Look how fucking
not
big they are.
overbearing. They're huge, absolutely monstrous. Because I mean, it's oh, that's a submarine engine, is it?
Yeah, a submarine engine. That's the engine that's in like the diesel submarines.
Yeah.
Because obviously nuclear submarines don't have engines because
No.
they use a reactor to generate electricity that charges batteries, and the batteries what turns the screw, the propeller or the screw, depending
Yeah.
on what layout it is.
The turbine.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, like this little dynamic of how it works. Same thing with diesel engines. Diesel engines charge a generator, which basically interesting thing with boats is all boats are electric, which I didn't know that. Why did I click on that? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah, all boats are electric. Essentially, the way they drive. But Spitfire's Merlin motors is a pretty good one. They do sound sick, especially when they fly over. My favorite motor would have to be, I reckon, the red motor in the GTS line or the Ford GT line. They just sound so tough when they're done up, especially when you
Right.
like do cams and like put like a lumpy cam on it or something like that, and then a nice 2.5 straight pipe from the motor. They just sound so nice. See if I can find a video of one running. Like the Monaros.
Yeah.
They're probably my favorite sounding one.
which one's the Monaro? Is that the brand or the car model? I don't remember.
It's the car model. So Holden's the brand, and then the Monaro.
Oh
itself
yeah,
is the,
yeah. The whole that
yeah. I don't know if
True.
sound's gonna work. Let me know if it is or not.
yeah, that's working.
Listen to that.
Yep, I can understand. That's actually very similar tone to the Spitfire.
Really? You really think so?
To a certain degree. It's if you had like slightly more lower, a slightly lower pitch, it would sound a lot. It would sound pretty much identical.
Spitfires are cool because, like, the way they used to start them is with shotgun shells. So they had a starter motor, but the starter motor you can only apply it. So this is the reason why I love DCS, because DCS actually shows you how to like start up a plane and whatnot. Obviously simulation and whatnot, but so they used to have
What's DCS? Sorry, just before you continue.
Digital Combat
Like-
Simulator. It's like a
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yep.
it's a game, but it's pretty like accurate with learning to fly fighter jets and shit like that. But so they did have a starter motor, but if an emergency happened and needed to start it, they used to have this like it was like pretty much the hand part of a shotgun, and it had blank cartridge in it, and it would fire into the engine to get the engine started. Watch this. Look at that fire come out of it.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah, that's normal, by the way.
You'd still be kind of concerned.
Yeah.
You'd be thinking, oh, is this the one time that it's not normal when the engine actually is on fire?
Here we go. Listen to that motor.
Okay, yeah, no, they don't sound the same.
Yeah,
Never mind.
they don't sound like that at all. Look at that. They could you imagine like
Is that
a
Wings
whole-
over Illawarra?
sorry?
Is that Wings over Illawarra?
I don't know.
'Cause that's basically like an airplane exhibit where they get all these planes from all over the place and they just fly them around this old airport, and it's actually quite a lot of fun. They do it towards the end of the year, around October, November. I think
Okay.
Dad and I will go to that again this year.
I used to I want to go back to the Avalon Air Show. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that
is that
show.
the one? Is it the one in the? No, I'm thinking of
This
the
one
one
in
a different
Melbourne.
one.
It's the Australia's like largest aviation air show, and the
Oh
Americans.
no, it is.
Yeah, the Americans usually turn up as well. So like when I went to the Avalon Air Show, it was back when I was in cadets. I got to when the Airbus A380 was first built. They had one
Yep.
there, and we got to go
Oh, wow.
inside it, and we got to see inside it and stuff like that before it actually was like flying commercially.
Yeah.
And it was cool because the one that they had was like a display model. So it had like the top deck had like a spa and everything in it. It's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was so luxurious. It was like a ocean liner in the sky. It was like really, really nice. And it was also interesting having it up against like a C5 Galaxy, which is like one of the world's largest cargo planes. That thing is like huge. Like its tire is the size of a car.
Oh wow.
It's fucking big. That thing can like hold several tanks. It can hold like several other aircraft like in it and stuff like that.
Whoa.
Yeah,
It's like a frigate in the sky.
well, it is. Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
The only thing bigger than it is like the Antonovs.
Aren't those the ones that have like 8 jet engines and they're basically strapped like to? They've got 4 sets of jet engines and they're all strapped together in groups of 2.
You're talking about the Antonovs, or you're talking about that? Sounds like the B-52 that you're thinking of.
it's the jet engines. I know that much. Just don't remember.
Because the B-52 has engines that are strapped together on pylons. Like that.
Antonov.
The Antonov has 8 engines in total.
Yeah, I think, and they're jet engines, right?
Yeah. They're all jet engines. You would never be able to get that many propellers to carry that amount of weight.
Yeah, true.
So you got the
No,
B-52
not.
and the Antonov.
Oh, actually, you know what? I think it is. I think that is the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because you also got the Antonov.
Yeah, that's definitely it. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You've got the Antonov 225, which is obviously that picture. There's what's left of it now after the Russians bombed it.
Wow.
Yeah. And a C5 Galaxy.
I'm excited to see this. I'm curious.
Like that's a Chinook coming out of
Yeah. Okay, no, it was the Galaxy
Like-
I was thinking of because that's the one that the picture just above that one.
So-
I think you scroll up a little bit.
Yeah, that's like the fuselage of a C-17, which is our current military's largest aircraft, going
Just being
inside.
swallowed by an.
I don't know. Like that's how big it is. Look at that. Like that's a
That is
Hercules.
huge.
Like that's so big. I wish there was a picture. Oh, here we go. Like look at it next to like the wedge tail and like,
Humans for scale.
Yeah, it's fucking huge.
That is enormous.
They're impressive, and the crazy thing about them is that they can take off like really quick as well. They don't need that much crazy amount of run rate to be able to fly.
They probably over-engineered the engines on them.
Those engines are like massive. Yeah, they produce a shitload of thrust. But yeah, so yeah, it has to be the Holden or the Ford GT of that same era. That are my favorite sounding motors. That
Okay.
and maybe Ducati motorbikes. I like their sound as well. But yeah, what about you? What car would you own if you could have one?
There's a Toyota sports car that I really like.
It'd be fun to
I
have.
think
an
it's a
electric
Toyota Coupe. Let's have a look at here.
sound of silence and rubber.
Yeah, so it's like a whole Toyota GR would probably be
Toyota GR.
yeah.
Fuck
If I
is-
could own any car, probably that.
What the fuck is a Toyota GR?
It's AE. Oh, it's a Toyota GR86. That looks like an interesting looking car, but I like
Are you talking
I like
about the
more.
hatchback? Are you talking about?
No, it should be a. Don't think it's a hatchback.
Because that's like a Toyota Yaris, isn't it? Yeah, Toyota Yaris.
No, the one to the left of that one.
That one.
Up, that one.
The Corolla.
No, the red car top row center.
That one here.
That one, yeah.
That's a Toyota 86.
Yes.
Yeah. They're rear wheel drive. They're actually Subaru.
Of course they are.
Yeah, they are one of these.
Oh yeah, I can see it
Yeah.
now.
They are a really nice car. They drift really well. I have been in several. They have a lot of cool aftermarket parts for them. The only downside to them is they have obviously the boxer motor, which
Is that one that's really unreliable?
yeah, they're shit.
Oh, okay.
You know that's a boxer motor. The reason why they're shit is because the motors obviously opposing, so the cylinder heads are here in this direction.
Yeah.
And so you can imagine having a head like that, all the issues that comes with it. They're like they're a really nice balanced motor because they're in the boxer orientation, so they are actually really balanced, and so you don't get a lot of vibrations for them. But they just because they're complicated, They just have a lot of issues. Head gaskets are a big thing with them. They blow a lot. It's just a common thing in all boxer motors, no matter what type it is, unless it's an aircraft motor that's air cooled. But
Yeah.
but yeah, they just have all sorts of liability issues. I think the
Well, I
biggest
definitely have to reconsider that one then.
I think the biggest problem with Subaru is Subarus have too many computers.
Yeah, they're notorious for having a lot of computers. I think
Yeah.
their cars have something like 7 computers just monitoring the car, which is I don't understand why you need that many computers.
Yeah, I know. And if one of them goes wrong, the whole car doesn't work.
Yeah, which is then you get like 7 different things you need to shoot before you can even get the car started again.
Yeah, pretty much. I also found out that Subarus you can't roll start either if something goes wrong with them.
Oh,
If
really?
you have a manual, yeah.
Well, that
There
just
was
sounds
this
like a really bad
there was this
design.
guy that I used to work with who had this was before my time that I'm at my current place, but his battery went dead. No, actually no, it wasn't the battery, it was yeah, it was. Oh my god.
What?
I thought Subaru was bad. The Volvo has like 15 different computers.
Oh,
That is stupid.
that's a
Why
lot
would you
of.
need 15?
You don't need like one for each wheel, I guess.
Oh my god. It's just the computer for everything. So he had a WRX 2008 WRX, did he have? I think he had a 2000. But basically the battery went dead.
Mm.
And we wanted to roll start it, and we couldn't because it doesn't let you roll start at all.
Why not?
I don't know. Stupid. I'm trying to find it. It was a sedan.
The oh, what was it? There's a if yeah the car that I currently have is right at the moment just the probably one of the most reliable cars I've ever had.
It was that one. He had that exact car in that
Oh,
color
yeah.
too. His was done up really well too. He spent a lot of money on it.
I once knew a bloke who had a Subaru CXI.
Yeah.
It was a CXI, or oh no, an SDI. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was actually a lot of fun. And he had a lot of fun with that one. I had a lot of fun being in the passenger seat with him in that car as well.
At the moment, they're the only kind of performance turbo around, really.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A
Like
performance turbo is not popular anymore.
no, it's not. Like, you had your so you originally had the Evolutions, the Evos, the GDRs, and the WRXs and the Supra.
Yeah.
And Mazda had obviously the RX-7s and RX-8s and whatnot as well.
Yep.
And they all kind of just died off in the ass. Like, yeah, okay, there was a new Supra that uses a BMW motor, but it doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's not the same. None of the cars are the same. None of them are. Even the Subarus are not the same car that they used to be. Now they're like built and made in a way that's really hard to modify them. They're designed with preventing modification from happening in mind. I feel like when you think about it, like say you want to upgrade a turbo, but you can't because there's like 3 other computers you have to change.
Oh, wow.
You know. So they've just made it not cost effective to do it anymore.
Yeah, because I think that's actually probably one of the major reasons too, is because it's just too expensive to do up cars nowadays. Because when was the last time you saw, say, for example, like a street racing video on YouTube that was from recent times?
All the time.
All the time? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't really.
Street racing will never die. The thing is, it's just they're not modern cars. They're still the same cars that they were like 15 years ago.
Yeah, right.
Some people obviously have modern cars on there, but they don't really do that much to them, or they have a lot of money and then they've done everything to them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, all the cars that I see in the car scene are still your Skylines, your Rexes, your
Yeah.
Evos. All those cars are still running around and strong as ever, popping like burnouts and skidding around and doing all sorts of crazy. And then obviously you got your Commodores and your Falcons, of course. So your standard pig cars. But yeah, it's still certainly happening. That's for sure.
Yeah. Do you think do you think that cars are more reliable or less reliable than they were 15 years ago?
They are less.
Yeah.
Um. Okay, put it this way, right? There was this guy that I went to uni with who had a 1970s Corolla.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a KE30. And his car had done 1.5 million
Whoa.
kilometers on the same motor.
Wow.
And he didn't he did rebuild the motor after it hit the million mark.
Yep.
But all he did was change the pistons. The head was. He said the head didn't even need to be resurfaced or anything like that. He changed all the springs, the valve cover, the valves and the rocker covers and the cam and all that sort of stuff. Like he spent a lot of money fixing it, but it wasn't as crazy expensive because it's a simple car, so components are relatively cheap to make. So they're not.
Yeah.
It didn't cost him that much. He said it cost him about $8,000 for
Which
all
is
the
still less than a
components.
brand new car.
Yeah, and he did it all himself. And it was still the original body. So the body had done 1.5 million Ks. And and the suspension had as well, which he swapped out the suspension and got it resurfaced. So he didn't they're not like the control arms and all that sort of stuff weren't they weren't thrown out. They were just simply taken to a machine shop that sandblasted and reconditioned them and popped them back in with new bushes and stuff like that. This car had been everywhere. It was amazing. And even like my parents' Prado, the old one, it's like nearly over 400,000 Ks on the same motor. I mean, she's tired now and like really, really like fatigued, but even when the fan belts were like barely hanging on and had barely any oil in it, and it still ran and it's still got like over 400,000 Ks, and it probably will still keep going. The body is rusting out to buggery now.
Yeah.
But
the engines are still going.
It's still going strong. And modern cars, you'd be lucky to get modern cars living over 300,000 Ks.
Far out.
Because they're designed to fail a lot earlier now. The components used to maintain them are more expensive, but not that good quality anymore either, because they're like full of plastics and other sort of components.
Oh yeah,
just make them weak.
It's like planned redundancy.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
And then you also add the emission controls, which kill any motor. I've always been dead against the emission control systems, the way they do it, because it kills the motor, which therefore makes the car doesn't live as long, which therefore makes more waste, which therefore has more of an environmental impact than just simple producing better fuel quality. If we had better fuel quality, we wouldn't have to worry about all this stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think for the last month or so, I've been putting in 98 in my car, and my car's been running a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
It used to be really lumpy and well, not acoustically, but it used to run really lumpily. So I'd have these moments where it almost felt like I had a rush of air push against the front of my car to slow it down.
Yeah.
But it was really just the motor. But I put 98 in it, and I learned that 98 has a little bit of fuel injector cleaner in it as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why all that was happening, because my fuel injectors were just a little dirty. So after I did all that, is my car is a 2002 car, and it's coming up to 383,000 kilometers
Yeah.
and it's still going strong.
Yeah, I could never run 98 on any of the other cars that I used to have because I was just too old. Like the Laser was a carburetor, so it was just not really great. That car was built on running on leaded fuel anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
The diesel's different. Diesel I just put injector cleaner through it once in a while and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
used to run additives to help clean up the fuel,
Yeah.
but I found that you get like a sludge because what it does, it kills all the bacteria in your fuel tank. And some people might go, oh, this little science lesson here for you people. So when you have a fuel tank and you get bacteria in it, where do you think the bacteria live and reside in?
The
This is a question.
pipes.
No, it's like within the fuel itself.
Oh, right.
So what does fuel and oil have in common with each other when it comes to water?
They're both they both they're not as dense as water, so they float on top of water.
Yeah, they're like hydrophobic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, yeah, they separate from water. So when you fill up a tank, any sort of condensation, any moisture buildup that's in your fuel tank, the bacteria actually reside within those water molecules, essentially.
Mm.
So when you put a algae killer into your fuel tank as an additive to kill off all that bacteria growth, what happens? It dies and actually settles on the bottom of a fuel tank and causes a sludge. So over time, when you get a lot of buildup of this bacteria, you get this sludge, and what happens is that will then eventually make its way into your fuel lines, fuel filter, and fuel pump, and it will actually kill your motor. I'll show you a picture what it looks like.
Is it like a dark green, like a really, really dark green type of sludge?
Yeah, it's like a brown sludge. It's really fucking
Okay.
gnarly looking. Yeah, like that's probably a really good picture. So it's kind of like that.
Oh yeah.
And so when I had to do fuel stuff for the Laser, when I was doing carburetor stuff, I had to pull the tank out and actually clean it because it was just full of this shit.
Ooh.
And so over time, you know, it gets built up inside the tanks and whatnot, and then this will eventually make its way into your fuel lines. When that happens, it causes all sorts of issues. So fuel additives are really, really useful for like cleaning your injectors and whatnot, but I wouldn't recommend running them every single time because the more sludge that you end up building up from killing all that bacteria, the higher possibility of it causing issues later down the line. So it's good to run injector cleaner through the standard once a month or once every 2 months. But it's not great and ideal to run the fuel additive like all the time. And I was doing it for a while in the nav, and then after like a year of doing it, I realized that I was getting that gunk, so I had to clean some shit out and remove it all and then stop doing it really. And since I've stopped doing it, it's not as bad. I mean, you still get it, but it doesn't grow as nowhere near as fast. So yeah.
It's not as big of a problem for you now as it was before.
Because there was a lot of arguments online about running fuel additives to kill all the algal growth and all that sort of stuff.
Online arguments?
Yeah,
Tell
I know.
me so.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to test and do it myself. And I did. And yeah, I found that running the fuel additives 24/7 actually caused issues. So I don't. Yeah.
I mean, that is actually really interesting. There are no solutions, just compromises.
Pretty much, yeah. Nothing is ever like straightforward and foolproof. The oil additives though are really handy to use for my car. Oil additives is different. They sort of They make the oil bind to the materials and stay. So basically, what the oil additives do is when you turn off a motor, right, and you let it sit overnight,
Mm.
your oil drips down into the sump, right? So it drips down from all the different oil valleys and all the components that are usually covered in oil.
Yeah.
It will just mix down, right?
Just through the nature of gravity, of
Yeah.
course.
So when you start your car up, essentially what happens is you're essentially starting your car on a dry run because all the
Mhm.
lubrication is just basically through gravity's leaked down into the oil sump overnight. So what
Yeah.
this oil additive does is it makes that oil bind and stick better and longer. So then that way when you start your car up in the morning, it's still there, it's still lubricating everything. So then that way you don't wear and tear your engine faster.
Nah, absolutely. Nah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
That's also another thing why older cars are more reliable is older cars were built with a higher tolerance rate than modern cars because they're not really performance cars either. So like their oil wells, their um, everything basically was made with toughness in mind, and so they were a lot more
Because they didn't have a
forgiving.
choice back in those days.
Yeah, well, obviously, we can like print out a block without any issues with like CNC milling and stuff like that. All that used to have to be by hand, but yeah. So because of that, as well, cars were a lot more reliable and forgiving because, like, they were iron blocks, so you could resurface them easier. They could deal with heat a lot easier. They were built thicker, so they took a lot more punishment. Now car motors are lighter. They're made out of alloy blocks. They do not cope with heat well. So if they start overheating, pretty much in a modern car now, if that temperature gauge reaches the hot and overheats, by the time that's happened, your car's cooked already. It's fucked. You'll need a new motor.
Where do you have? Would you think that there's a year which that you go from old cars to modern cars?
That's a good one because it depends on the manufacturer.
Yeah.
See, like
This will,
here in Australia, we've always been behind the times. Like for example, a car that came out here has significantly less technological advances than a car in America or Europe. Like, only recently heated seating has become mainstream here, but yeah, heating seating has been around in America and England for like a long time.
and also the Australian government mandated that car dealerships can't sell a car. They couldn't sell a car that didn't have the electronic brake system or the or ABS
Yeah.
in 2013.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how long that was the case for, but prior to that,
So
not entirely sure.
I would probably say 2012 was the year that everything changed from the robustness of a car to the modern era of cars sort of coming into question. Because like when you think
Right.
about it, 2012 was kind of the year that all the cars went from looking kind of different to looking the same. Really, when you think about it,
Yeah, I suppose so.
So I think 2012 is probably a good year to say that's when things kind of really changed.
Yeah, not for the better either.
No, definitely not. But yeah, all the animals are just going crazy. I have a snake that's just demanding food from me, and a dog that just doesn't know what to do with herself. Snake looks like she wants to eat me. She probably would have given the chance. But yeah. So, when are you going to see Barbie since you haven't seen it yet?
It'll probably be either. It'll most likely be next weekend.
Yeah.
I wanted to do the Barbenheimer, but I
Yeah.
ran out of time.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do it next weekend. I don't think I'm going to see Oppenheimer again, but probably going to definitely see Barbie, that's for sure.
Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer. Did you ever watch the Imitation Game?
Yes, I love that game. That
No, not the game. The movie.
The movie. That was so
Yeah.
fucking good. That was
I
it had what's his name in it?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes, and yeah, and I
He
was
did a really good job.
he did, especially when you like look at the history of him, and then
Yeah.
you compared them to each other.
Yeah.
It was sad what happened in the end.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it
absolutely.
broke my heart. I didn't know that they would fucking like doing that back then as well against like homosexuality and stuff. That they were chemically
They really didn't
castrate them.
like homosexuals back then.
Yeah, that's horrible. I could. Yeah, that's fucked, man.
I actually found that the Oppenheimer has a startling resemblance to the Imitation Game.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's what shall we say? I had it all worked out, but essentially, I reckon if you liked the Imitation Game, you'll also like Oppenheimer. I
Yeah.
reckon. There are.
It's possible. Yeah, I probably would see it, but I don't think I'd pay a ticket to see it. To be honest, I'll probably just see it when it comes out on a streaming platform.
Yeah. Okay. My only problems with Oppenheimer was Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in it, and
Is he in Oppenheimer? Is he?
yeah, he's like some sort of headmaster of a facility that gets in touch with Oppenheimer and basically tries to congregate Oppenheimer and Einstein. Or I'm probably wrong about the last part, but he basically tries to convince Oppenheimer to basically run a university or a school.
Yeah.
But I'm not entirely sure what his character was supposed to be essentially. That, and also there were a couple of montages or compilations of what Oppenheimer was thinking, almost like an alternative being basically communicating with Oppenheimer through thought. A very dramatic and fantastical interpretation of it, of course.
Yeah.
I felt like that had a couple of that introduced a couple of pacing issues.
Yeah.
But that was only in the beginning, and the beginning of the movie had a couple of pacing issues, but the rest of the movie was really, really interesting.
So you did see it then?
I did go see it. I did.
Yeah.
I had enough time for Oppenheimer.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
have enough time to go see Barbie after the fact.
Okay. Yeah, I was. That's why I was confused. I'm like, I thought you said you couldn't see it.
No, I couldn't see Barbie. I didn't have enough time to see Barbie because by the time Oppenheimer had finished, Barbie had already started.
Did they show the incident that happened with the Devil's Core?
No.
Oh, damn it! That was like such a significant like accident that happened.
It wasn't. Oppenheimer isn't about the Manhattan Project. Oppenheimer is they really try to nail this home. Oppenheimer is about Oppenheimer. So it follows him. The Manhattan Project itself was actually a somewhat it was probably about 30 or 40% of what the movie was about, because
Really?
Oppenheimer addresses is the incidents that Oppenheimer had with the bureaucracy, both before, during, and after the Manhattan Project, and that's what the movie is predominantly about. It's just the bureaucracy of the Manhattan Project in the eyes of Oppenheimer.
Who did they get to play as Einstein?
I don't know him. I don't recognize him. Let me have a look.
Because like, this is a thing. Like, it was such a significant thing, and it was also one of the world's best secrets that was kept.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
Tom Clancy.
Not Oppenheimer, the Manhattan Project.
The Manhattan Project, yeah.
No one knew that it was happening when it was happening.
Yeah.
Like, the entire people involved were moved to that desert town, and the desert town was off limits. You were not allowed to enter or exit that town. The entire family weren't allowed to communicate with anyone outside. They were lived there to join the Manhattan Project, and they weren't ever left. They weren't ever taken away from that area until they finished developing the atom bomb, and then And then obviously at the end of World War II, whatnot, and then it was sort of came out for after then. But during the war, like it was no one knew it was happening.
Yeah. The the big issue that I had with Oppenheimer, the Oppenheimer it's a very enjoyable movie, but the
Yeah.
problem that I found as well was a lack of focus because because of what it focuses on is bureaucracy, but because the bureaucracy is so it introduces this sense of vagueness because it's worried about spies in the Manhattan Project and how that was leaked to the Soviets as to how
Yeah.
they now have radiation coming out of their country, and how Germany was producing a missiles and an atom bomb,
Yeah.
and it was in a very in a sense all over the place when it came to the bureaucracy, but it was focused on the bureaucracy
Yeah,
of
I
the
think I
Manhattan Project.
probably would have found Imitation Game way better than that then.
Yes,
Because
but it
Imitation,
does have a very startling resemblance to Imitation Game in terms of structure and
yeah,
storytelling.
yeah, I wonder if they use that as like the inspiration to pull from.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
But the man who played Albert Einstein is a man named Tom Conti.
Oh,
I
okay.
I've never seen any of his work prior to Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
But he did a really good job. The only person the only person I felt that really didn't do a great job with their acting was Robert Downey Jr. And that's because like you can clearly see his character that he's
Yeah.
playing is quite clearly in his 60s or 70s, and he's walking around like Tony Stark. Like he has no stiffness in his movement.
Yeah.
He's like very limber, very lumber for this very old bloke. Um,
That's
that probably sits at his desk all day, every day, and you can pick up on it pretty damn quickly. And it's just like he's not doing a good job there. And I blame the director more so than Robert Downey Jr.
yeah, so do you think for like the people that are watching this, do you think that it's worth going to see?
I do. I would actually recommend that you go see it. It's just like any other movie. There's just a
Yeah.
few things that might pop out to you as being wrong, but the movie itself is enjoyable. Especially this actually I would say the sound. The sound is kind of like okay, if I could the sound is enjoyable.
Yeah.
It could probably do with a little bit of extra mixing in terms of picking out frequencies and making them clearer, especially that. But it has a lot of explosions, and the explosions are actually very convincing.
Yeah.
So I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10.
Oh, well, that's pretty high for a movie like that. Yeah.
Yeah, look, the good things about the movie definitely overshadow the bad things about the
Yeah.
movie. It's just that the bad things about the movie you can pick out pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, yeah. I've just been so busy lately with everything that's been going on that I just haven't had time to go out.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
Yeah. Because
yeah,
Oppenheimer was also it's a 3-hour long film as well.
that is long. Do you think that they could have
It was
do you
really
think they
long.
could have cut a lot of it out?
No, I don't think they could have.
No.
Just simply because there's just so much to talk about. And
Yeah.
in fact, it was I guess they could have to make the story a little bit more concise and more consistent, because it was like I said, the pacing had a bit of an issue in terms of leading from one part of Oppenheimer's life to leading up to the Manhattan Project, which then led up to the post World War bureaucracy. It was sort of like a 1 year later, but they don't tell you that it's 1 year later. You can just tell because his hair is thin and grayed,
Yeah.
as opposed to it was 2 scenes ago. But I enjoyed it. It possibly could have had some content cut, but all in all, I think it was just a pretty overall enjoyable film.
Yeah. Okay. It's certainly given me a lot to think about, that's for sure, whether I want to go see it or not.
Yeah, I mean, if you go see Oppenheimer thinking that you're going to go watch a movie about the Manhattan Project, then you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the Manhattan Project. It's for example, a big part of the film, and this is the bureaucracy crap talking.
Yeah.
And it's a big part of the film is seeing Oppenheimer be dragged into multiple rooms and courtrooms talking about his involvement in the Manhattan Project and his potential liaison with basically accusing him of being a Soviet spy for the Russians, and him trying to prove that he's not a Soviet spy. That's a big part of the movie as well, which has virtually nothing to do with the Manhattan Project in a practical sense. So it's a lot of political talking, and less about the Manhattan Project.
Okay.
And you can go watch it and watch about what Oppenheimer had to deal with, both leading up to the Manhattan Project, and post Manhattan Project. And if you do that, if you go into the movie without preconceived notion, you'll enjoy it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Bit of a subject change. I wanted to ask your opinions on flying cars.
Flying cars.
Would you actually consider that a flying car?
No.
I would
consider that a flying car?
I would consider that a plane.
Yeah, it is a flying car. It's a car and it's flying. It's a flying car.
I think it's just a plane. That's what I think. No, I reckon it's a plane. And the reason why, hear me out. This is the reason why I think it's a plane, right?
Yeah. Can you fold the wings up?
It looks like you can take the wings off.
Yeah. But that's very impractical.
Exactly. So
okay, so it's a plane.
So yeah, that's why I'm thinking it's a plane. Like, same with something like this. If they were to make something like this a reality, I would not consider that a plane. I would consider that freaking
scroll down a little bit.
Helicopter. Like, to me, a flying car is something like that can drive like normal, but then like transform into the aircraft and then fly.
Even then, that's a hovercraft. That's not even a plane.
Yeah, that is a hovercraft. Like,
but okay, so if
like
I can,
like, how could you drive 100 kilometers per hour in something like that?
You can't. You just take off.
Exactly. That's my point. Like,
so yeah, that is a plane, right? So, but if you can land on the highway, fold the wings up, and then start driving at 110 kilometers an hour, then that is a flying car.
Exactly.
But looks like they haven't developed a pragmatic way of doing that. So it's a plane.
Look, doesn't even have wheels.
That's just a helicopter, a
quadcopter, but
I don't want to call it a drone because it's too big to be a drone.
Yeah, and it's manned, obviously, because drones have to be non-manned.
Yes,
I would think that would be more like a quadcopter because it's got the four blades.
Yes,
yeah. I like things like that. They're not cars.
That just looks like crap.
They do. They look shit, don't they? Look at that. Look how terrible that is.
What is the point?
I know.
Not practical at all.
Transforming car. It's not. It's a plane.
Transforming cars.
There are planes that you can take the wings off for storage. Yeah, they're airplanes.
Yeah, because you can do that with regular airplanes. For storage, you can take the wings off.
Have you seen?
So yeah, they're an airplane.
Have you seen the new jetpacks?
No. I know about water packs, but I don't know about a jet. What the hell is that?
That's the new jetpack.
That looks so gross. That looks so impractical.
They designed them so the that way Marines could jump onto the like on top of like Navy vessels and stuff like that. So they can go from like one of these and fly up on top of the Navy vessel.
Yeah.
They were also in Formula One.
What?
Yeah.
They were in Formula One.
Yeah, they were. So it was an event.
Oh, so they're just showing them off.
Yeah.
Okay. That looks
And then
really dumb.
and then one of them stacked it.
Yeah, oh wow. Yeah, guys, look, it's so easy. Crash.
Yeah, I would not be game enough to do that. Like
No.
if that happens, like you are in a world of hurt, that's for sure. Yeah.
Helicopter.
Well, look, flying motorcycles.
Flying motorcycle. That
Doesn't have wheels.
Yeah, it doesn't have wheels. It's not a motorcycle.
It's not a motorcycle. What the fuck? Like the
It's just
definitions of these things, I swear, are just so out.
Just
out there.
very loose, very vague, not very defined at all, which is ironic since of their definitions.
Definitely. It's yeah. I don't see the point of inventing a flying car. I think it's just there's just no point.
No, there isn't, because the only reason you need a flying car is to make more room for driving cars.
Exactly. You know what they should invent?
What's that?
An anti-gravity device. Kind of like the Star Wars grav lifts.
So is this
technology.
the anti-gravity device? Is this something that you can manipulate parameters to essentially allow you to cancel out the gravitational pull of Earth and even go up and down, or just cancel out the gravitational force of Earth?
So in theory, like repulsor lift technology, which is a Star Wars thing, in theory, basically what it does is it negates gravity.
Right.
To an extent.
So you just start floating.
You start floating, essentially, yeah. So it can maneuver you left, right, up, down, angle. It can do whatever direction.
Right.
And obviously, like, it can only go to a certain height because, it would need a lot of power to go higher. But yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That also doesn't Earth's gravity it doesn't alleviate as you go higher up into the atmosphere? I think so. So the force of gravity, force of Earth's gravity weakens as you get further and further away from Earth.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
I'm sure it does too.
Yeah, because gravity is interesting the way it works. Because people think that it's like something that pulls like from the bottom down, but it's not. It's like a magnetic force that pulls on all angles and directions.
Yeah, it's just the way you the way that it's most easily representable is having that 2D plane or that 3D plane, and having the Earth or planets just sort of droop into it, like droop down into it. It's just the easiest way to represent the gravitational force of each planet, which is perfectly fine. It's a very practical way of doing it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, on that note, that is the end of our podcast for episode 3.
I hope you all had a great time.
Yeah, and thanks, Ray, for coming on as well. That was really kind of you.
Thank you, Ray.
I hope those people that watched it enjoyed it. The VOD will be up for a while. I'll download and edit this episode and re-upload it to YouTube, so then that way people can see it. I'll cut out the boring stuff, obviously. That's what I'm going to do with these videos on YouTube. I'll cut out the stuff for like not talking for a while, or make it not as boring. But yeah. So
get ready for 2 minutes of content.
2 minutes. Well, I edited the last video and I got it down to like an hour and 40 minutes.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Like, I want to keep as much of the podcast on there as possible so people can just sort of keep in the loop of what was said.
Yeah.
And then I'll make shorts and stuff like that to help out with that as well, so that way people can see in bite pieces. So yeah, but it's been fun. And we're hoping to continue doing this basically like a religious
forever.
thing. Yeah, it'd be really cool. It'd be really cool to see new people come and go. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I hope you all have a good evening and day, depending where you're on the world. and we'll keep you posted on when the next podcast will come live this week. We may only do an hour during the week because 2 hours was pretty rough for us.
Yeah.
It was rough. So we may change it to like an hour long during the week, and then next weekend we'll try and aim to have another guest on, or before. We'll keep you posted on what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll catch you all later. See ya.
See ya. Have a good day.